This presentation is about the Energize Community Program and funding readiness. And part of this is just the prep work to get through to actually applying for our low interest gap fund loan. And before we get started, I'm going to go on and I'm going to put our wait list for our gap fund loan in the chat. And so if you have a minute now, sign up on our wait list, but just so that that's there. And then let's go on and get things started. My name is Ryan Cobbins, and I am the program director for the Energize Colorado Gap Fund. And the Energize Colorado group is not just presenting a host of different workshops over the last month through May on funding readiness, not just to prepare folks for our gap fund loan, but opportunities around the state. And so the program that we're speaking of is the Energize Community Program, providing funding readiness workshops, gap fund low interest loans, and then also an accelerator program to further your business. This program includes technical and business advisors to also assist you with a broad range of issues facing our Colorado small businesses. I mentioned our low interest loans. These low interest loans are funding up to $20,000 with 36-month terms or 3 years with an interest rate of only 2.5%. Funds can be used for payroll, rent, lease payments, utilities, debt consolidation, working capital, equipment, inventory, and also capital improvements. This loan program is for businesses with fewer than 25 employees in really 3 geographical areas that include Pueblo, Southwest Denver, and East Colfax, and it includes childcare around the state. And so over the next couple of weeks, we'll also be bringing an assortment of additional workshops to better prepare you to apply for our gap fund loan, in addition to other opportunities around the state. And so I'm going to kick it over to Rebecca Engel to introduce herself, and then she'll introduce our guest speaker for today.
Thanks so much, Ryan. So I am Rebecca Engel. I'm our program director for Energize Colorado, and I'm really grateful for Brian Estrada to be here from the Southern Colorado Small Business Development Center. And he is generously giving his time to help go through these financial documents to make sure that we are all prepared for the application. As Ryan mentioned, and I put in the chat, if you sign up for our wait list, you'll be alerted as soon as that application opens. And the documents that Brian will be going over today and on Thursday are documents that will need to be submitted for the loan. So we're so glad that you're here. After this session ends, we will send out all of the recordings as well as the sample documents that Brian shares. So thank you so much for being here, Brian, and we will turn it over to you. And I promise this time to make sure I'm watching to see if the slides move forward. So take it away.
All right. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for watching the slides. We'll make sure. So if they don't move, please let us know in the chat so that we can move forward with that. I'm going to keep them open kind of like they are when I share here in just a second, so that we know that they do move here. So let me just get this up for everyone. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is basic financial statements. And the first thing that we are going to talk about today is your profit and loss statement. Some of you may know it as your income statement, but for these purposes and all the documents that I said, we will refer to it as a profit and loss. In part 2 on Thursday, we will discuss a balance sheet and go over how to do some projected financials, okay? So one of the things that I want to say is financial statements are created for 2 primary purposes. The first is for IRS reporting, and the second is to help owners manage and grow their business. So we're going to do a quick guide on a profit and loss statement, what it is, and how to read it. Okay, so first question that we ask ourselves, what is a profit and loss statement? It is a summary of business transactions over a specific period of time. So I have it down here in my bullet points, but you can choose how you want to set up your profit and loss statement. Generally, most businesses, so that they can do accurate planning and forecasting, they do it on a monthly basis. Some businesses will do it on a quarter, but then at the end of the year, you're going to want to run another report that shows from 2021, January 1st to 2021, December 30th, just so you can see how you did throughout the year. So however you set up your specific period of time, that is up to you, but I would recommend always doing a monthly profit and loss so you know how your business is doing each month, okay? The profit and loss statement is one of the most used reports for business owners, lenders, and tax preparers because it provides a concise measurement of how well your business is performing. It also reports how money flows in and out of your business over a specific period of time. So you always need to think of it as that flow. You know, here it comes in, and then we all know it goes right back out. Generally, like I said, it's done monthly. And what this statement is going to tell us if we're being profitable. If we're not being profitable, we need to make some adjustments. And let's face it, numbers don't lie. Okay, so we can definitely see where our business is headed. This sheet also helps business owners, lenders, tax preparers, and others make appropriate business decisions. You know, you may need to look at what is happening on your profit and loss statement because you may need to cut back labor in a certain area. You may have to stop selling a certain product because it's just not moving and it's costing you more money to keep it on hand. So this report can really tell you what is happening. Who knows, with inflation, your expenses are creeping up. You may need to relook if you already haven't done it and make some price adjustments to compensate that balance. This form will tell you that as well. Okay, the P&L provides insight into, like I said, which products or services account for majority of your revenue. Also, like I said, the ones that aren't doing so well. It can tell us which expenses may be out of line or creeping up. I know in restaurant operations, electricity is a big deal. Waste is another big deal. I call the spatula in a restaurant the $1 million tool because when you scrape out all the excess stuff there's still a few extra servings in that product so that you can put that into use and you're not just wasting. So always keep an eye on your expenses because that's what hurts your overall profit in the bottom line, okay? It can also serve as an early warning system for eroding sales and inflation expenses, among other things. Think of it as your monthly summary of how your business is performing and how you're managing your business. So when we look at the profit and loss statement, we ask ourselves, where do these numbers come from? Okay, the numbers come from tracking your daily transactions. Those are all your sales, bills that you pay, etc. You're going to take a look at your bank statements. You're going to look at credit card statements that you charge items on, invoices, and other documents that come through. Okay, these daily transactions can be captured as follows. You can, if you're a small business, you may use a simple Excel spreadsheet. Others still prefer to use Excel to make sure that they're inputting the data so they can know the numbers that are there. You can use QuickBooks, other accounting software services that are out there for you. And my biggest thing that I always tell retailers, restaurants, and smaller businesses, have a POS system, okay? Because with this point of sale system, you can definitely track everything that goes in, everything that goes out. It tracks your invoices. And then these all have processes where you can run these profit and loss statements right there. So all your numbers are there as long as you keep the information entered accurately on a daily basis. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you some examples of a profit and loss statement, but I wanted to outline the format for you just so you know. So this is what we're looking for when you do apply for these loans. We need your company name and the dates that are included in this statement. Okay, most businesses have a chart of accounts. So make sure that you have the list of accounts for your business on that profit and loss statement. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second here. Okay. Then you want to show your revenue section, because this is tallies the money coming into the business. It's often a good idea to break out major revenue streams to see how each is contributing to your business. So think of this, if you're, let's use a restaurant example. You make an overall breakdown of entrees, desserts, appetizers, salads, beverages, alcohol beverages. So try to break those sections down so you know which one of these revenue streams is generating the most income for you. If you have a retail business, it could be the same thing. You can do general topics, or you can list each item out separately so you know how your revenue is performing. Expenses. We always need to look at the cost of goods, okay? The cost to produce and sell a product. So this is what goes in when you're preparing that product that you want to sell. So if we're selling an entree for $14, and if we added everything together, it costs us $5 to make. That's what we're looking at for our cost of goods sold. Same thing with retail products, something that you purchased, then you're going to sell it. That's the cost of goods there. We also need to think of variable expenses. These are those expenses that change based on business activity. Okay, when we're really busy, some of these expenses go up, but we're also making more profits. So that's how we can track that. Then we want to think about our operating expenses or fixed expenses. The way that I explain these are the expenses that are always there when you operate your business. So this could be your rent, your bank fees, your POS subscription that you have each month, your manager, the positions that have to be filled no matter how busy or slow your business is. So you want to think about those as you're breaking your expenses down. Then finally, once we have all this listed, the very last line is your net income or bottom line. So we know if we're making money or if we're losing money. Basic simplified equation for you with your profit and loss statement is all revenue minus expenses equals your profit or net income. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these examples here. Okay, I hope you can see them because they're kind of small when we did the, I'll make them a little bit bigger for you guys here. Okay. Let me make my screen a little bigger and then we'll bring it back so you can see the other. I did a couple different examples for you. Okay. This first one, now I made it too big. I can't even see it. So let me go back just a smidge here. Okay. The simple one here, it's kind of blurry when I make it big, but you will all get this presentation sent to you so you can look at it one-on-one. But basically it has the name, the address of the business, the period of time. You should shrink this just a tad here. Then it has the revenue section, lists their sales, lists the revenue, and then it breaks down the expenses on here. I'm sorry, this one came out blurry. It looked fine earlier today, but this one you can see right here. Let me slide it over just a tad. Okay. This one, what I like about it is the fact that it has the name, the time period, it has your gross sales. It talks about sales returns and allowances. It also breaks down your cost of goods and it brings out inventory so that you can kind of see how your inventory has been throughout the year or this period that you're reporting here. And then it lists the different expenses such as advertising, amortization, bad debt, etc. However you're going to break those out. Okay, let me stop my screen here because I want to show you some better examples here. So hold on one second. Okay. in the slide, you're going to see I have one slide that lists a website address for you. So if you're unsure what your profit and loss statement is going to look, or how you want to do it if you haven't done one before, you can go to Microsoft Office and they have all of these templates that you can use. Here is the one that I had in my presentation so that you can see how it breaks each one of the sections down. And like I said, it lists the inventory. But the one that I really want to show you, I downloaded this one as well, but let's do it again so we can show you what it looks like here. Rebecca, let me know if this opens up so they can see the Excel sheet.
We still see the website.
Okay, I'm bringing it over to that screen for you so you can see this.
Great.
And then, so can you see the new one now?
Yes.
All right. So what I like about this one is if you don't have anything started or you're looking for a new simple report to make this work, this one breaks it down so simply for you. Okay, it has a dashboard where all the numbers will come to the main sheet so that you can print this up. And that way you can see what your total sales revenues were, your total cost of sales, total sales and marketing expenses. It lists everything that you would need to report in one document for a lender, for yourself, for your tax person. But what's great here is it has different tabs down on the bottom. So when you look at it, this one breaks it down by each of the revenue lines that you may have. So in my example of the restaurant, the appetizers, salads, entrees, beverages, you can add another line and put alcoholic beverages in there to separate it. And then what your costs of sales are. Then when you scroll down a little bit further, you can see what your total sales revenue are. And then that reports to your dashboard. Okay, here's any other income section that you have, expenses, sales and marketing, research development, general administrative, taxes, however you're going to set up your taxes, and the different categories. Let me move this out of the way so you can see. But here's the categories that feed into your dashboard so that it knows that it is working for you there. Okay, so that's a real simple example. Easy format to use. And let me move this bar out of the way. And here's a little cheat sheet for you if you're just setting up your chart of accounts. My consultants, when they're working with businesses, they pull this up as an example so that they can show individuals, here's what you're going to have to do for your tax purposes. All right, and so when you're looking at this to set up your chart of accounts, here's some topics right here for your expenses. So you can list these in your accounting software if they pertain to you, and then you just pull those numbers right off of your report to fill in for your tax documentations. So this is a good starting point. One of my consultants calls it a good cheat sheet to help you get started, because you don't always need to reinvent the wheel. There is information out there, so you can utilize that information that's already available. So we'll be sending this as well with that information. Let me get back to the last two slides. Okay, so like I said, we will send you the link for the Microsoft Office examples with tabs for you. Okay, I really like that one because all you got to do is fill in the sections and it reports it for you. Some businesses prefer to do something simple like this, but again, you're pulling your data from other sources and plugging those numbers in. All right, and then I will send you the IRS government publication as well. All right. So in summary, the profit and loss statement, along with the balance sheet and projected financial statements that we'll talk about on Thursday, they've guided business owners, lenders, and tax preparers for decades. So it's really important that you take the time to make sure that you have these documents. By understanding and using them, it will increase your odds of building a successful business. Okay. I am always available if you need any, if you have any questions or need any support, you can shoot me an email. I will definitely respond. There is my email. All right, and our website address for our page, so you can see what classes we have coming up or what other programs we have running. But that is the end of my very quick overview of your profit and loss statement. So if you have any questions, please ask away.
Thanks so much, Brian. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat, or if you'd like to ask out loud, you can just let me know and I can give you permission to speak. This was super helpful. We're so grateful, and just really good information that's really useful for applying for the GAP Fund loan or any other loans. There are loans coming out with the state, et cetera. And Brian's an incredible resource, as are his business consultants. So I really recommend you check out their website and their resources. Good.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we will definitely get those templates out to you, and you can reach out to Brian. You can reach out to us at the link I dropped for a business advisor if you'd like help filling them out or want someone to just double check them before you submit.
Okay. Looks like Nicole has a question about the application.
Great. Yeah, Nicole, would you like me to take you off mute, or would you like to drop your question in the chat? Oh, okay. Well, I just allowed you to talk, so totally up to you.
Okay, there. I'll just ask the question. I feel like I'm kind of in a box with all of the funding that's happening right now because I'm not a nonprofit, and there's so much funding available for family, home, child cares, center child-based places. But I am an early interventionist and a behavioral specialist, and I support the entire workforce across the state when it comes to social emotional development and training for early childhood professionals. So I'm a one woman kind of show, and because I'm an LLC, I can't tap in to said funding, but it's really making it hard for me to be able to support the workforce because the workforce can't be doing the training, they're working, right? And so I'm wondering, I applied for this thing a while ago, and I'm either hoping you guys can help me find a fit or tell me whether or not that, because I am associated with childcare, I sit on a bunch of committees for the Early Childhood Council here in El Paso County, if I might be still considered for the loan. That's the end.
Thanks, Ryan, if you'd like to jump in there.
Yeah, what I'll say is I know that there's a number of opportunities for folks to get access to funding around the state of Colorado. And in some cases, it's extremely, I was going to say frustrating, and it is frustrating. It's also slightly confusing of trying to figure out which actual funding, capital, loan, grant, what opportunities actually exist for your specific business. And these are questions that we're getting on a regular basis. And although our loan product is for folks that have been in business for at least 2 years, so there are some additional products that are available as well. Our products, I will say, are for not just nonprofits, but also for-profit or organizations as well. And so, Nicole, it sounds like you have a for-profit business or not a non-profit. So it sounds like a double negative there almost. But I can also, I'll leave my email in the chat, and then.
So Ryan, if
Yeah,
it,
for these 3 years. Okay.
right, can you, if, even though she's not a provider because she works with providers, would she be eligible for the gap fund loan?
So that's a good question as it relates to the childcare space. Nicole, I'm gonna put my contact information. If you could send me a quick email so I can probably can get a little bit more specific with you. Because I wanted to ask what part of town are you in? And then you'll have to tell me again what type of service you provide in that childcare space. But send me an email, and if you can email me, okay, cool. Thank you for that. Email me, and then at least what we could do also is try to help navigate through some of these opportunities that exist around the state as well.
Great. Thank you. And then another question in the Q&A, is the gap fund loan based on personal credit?
So I'll say credit is one piece of it. I would consider our product more character-based. Here's what we recognize is that there's folks like you and folks like myself that may have a slightly lower credit score than optimal, and part of that's because we've used some of our credit cards, increased our debt to income ratio to help fund our opportunities, our ventures, and our businesses. And so we'll have a set number of different types of criteria, but some of that is also based on character as well.
Thanks. So this is a question for Brian. Did you say that most financial software, QuickBooks, et cetera, have templates included?
Yes, you can find them under your menu tab. And like I said, they may call it income statements. So you can look at that and they will run the report for you. So as long as you've entered the data, you can run those reports. Your POS will have them, QuickBooks, et cetera. You should be able to do that.
Thank you. And then another question about where to find this recording and financial templates from today. We will be sending those out to anyone who registered for this. So you will all receive to the email that you registered the recording as well as the templates that were shown today. And we suggest that you join on Thursday at the same time, and Brian will go through the other common financial documents for loans, and then you'll get all of that together. Ryan, what do you mean by character-based?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and it's a good question because the challenge that I have or that I've experienced, trying to fund my venture, and I've got a 3,000 square foot coffee and wine lounge here, going the traditional route of trying to get funding through a big bank because I'm a small business, not generating millions in revenue. It was a little bit more challenging. And so the next phase of that was discovering that a lot of different organizations like to manage risk in order to actually lend money out. And so we recognize that small businesses or micro small businesses, the businesses that we cater to with Energize Colorado, we're really the driving force for the economy in the US. And I would argue around the globe. And so the challenge for folks like me is creating a capital stack or the funding to actually fund your business. What a character analysis does is it also takes into consideration things other than your credit score. And that's probably the best way of saying it. I probably could have said that to start off with to make this conversation easier. But it's really going to take other things into perspective other than your credit score. Could be things like the social impact that your organization may have. It may take into consideration, maybe you do volunteering. There's an assortment of other things that entrepreneurs do. So being able to evaluate pieces like that to also evaluate loan products.
Thanks. So another question, what would be the best product for a home builder or construction company?
I will say a multi-answer to that would be, if you're in one of our 3 geographical areas or childcare, ECP or our Energized Community Program may fit you. If you're not in one of those 3 geographical areas, Pueblo, Southwest Denver, East Colfax, and then childcare, then there are some other opportunities around the state that would actually may be of interest. And so please feel free to email me. Off the top of my head, the Climber Fund, I know is one opportunity that a lot of small businesses are getting access to. They're going to take into consideration all those documents that Brian just mentioned. The Colorado Startup Loan Fund will launch here in another month or 2 or sometime in the summertime, which will be an opportunity for not just startup businesses, but businesses that want to expand, existing businesses that want to expand.
Is there anyone or anywhere I can go to get help finding funding? Because I've been in business for over 6 years, but this past year has hit me bad and I keep getting denied from my personal credit.
Yeah, if you'd like, email me. I mean, and I have, this is the work that we do. How can we support our micro small businesses, our small businesses like yours? And so email me and I can give you some resources to take a look at as well. And I'll say, and this is what I feel like, is that it's a little bit of work, not a little bit, but a lot of bit of work. I look at different organizations that have a legal department. They have their own specific accounting department, human resources department. They have these departments that do this work individually for a 40-hour work week. And for a lot of our entrepreneurs, well, we're that accounting department. We're the quasi-legal department. Well, we also play that hat of the plumber and the electrician when something goes down, and then the psychiatrist, because some of us have staff. And so we know how daunting that can be. And so I have some resources for you. We have business advisors and technical advisors that can assist and really handhold through some of the documents that you may need as well.
Great. And when will the loan open up?
We are pushing to get the loan to open up in the next couple of weeks. Get on the wait list is what I would say. We will email out the folks that are on that wait list first. They'll be one of the first to hear that, hey, the application's now open. And like I said, we have business advisors and technical advisors to help walk people through the application process, which is another piece that we are actually evaluating, in the sense of, we recognize that there's so many different types of applications. It would be great to have one similar application that you can fill out, and that would give you access to apply for any funding or capital application piece that's coming out throughout the state of Colorado. That would be great. And so we are looking at how do we simplify this for our small businesses. So get on the wait list is what I'd say.
Great. I did see Heather joined as a panelist. Did someone give her permission to speak, or did I accidentally hit that? That was me? Great. Okay. I will take that away. I apologize. I just want to make sure if she had a question, she was able to answer it. Is there a checklist of things to have prepared ahead of time?
Yeah, so there's a few things. Ryan went over a few. Let me pull up, but the profit and loss statement or income statement, balance sheet, financial projections, and if you have your profit and loss completed, you can take that profit and loss, which will show your revenue, it'll show your expenses, and then you can kind of use that to forecast out the next year or two. I'm reaching under here to grab my other piece. And then there may be some additional documents that are needed. So for example, while I thumb through this off the top of my head, 2 years of tax returns. The GAP fund loan is geared toward businesses that have been open for at least 2 years. We recognize that because we are in tax season now. Some people filed taxes last month, some people filed an extension, so your taxes may not be done. So you may just have a year's worth of tax returns. There may be some entity documents such as the Colorado Secretary of State's certificate of good standing that just says, hey, I'm incorporated as a sole proprietor or LLC or any of those things. We have folks that can also help explain some of those pieces. And then personal business bank statements. Those would be the primary things that we would ask for. When I say we, I mean, those are some of the standard documents for any loan product that you would be applying for the most part.
Great. And I think you answered Nicole's other question in that answer. So thank you for that. If you haven't gotten your taxes back this year, that's understandable.
Mhm.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if not, we look forward to seeing you all on Thursday. You can expect an email with both today and Thursday's recordings, as well as all of the templates coming to you from Energize Colorado. And Brian, thank you so much. We are so grateful. It's always good to see your face. And we look forward to seeing you back here on Thursday. So thank you.
I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thanks again. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Brian.
Good night.
Thank you, Rebecca.